Real quick announcement, if you didn't hear before we dive into this, you only have a limited amount of time. If you ordered the day and night variant set for Doomsday Kingdom, you can go to the website doomsdaykingdom.com and add a signature option to your order. Again, we're going to start shipping ASAP, so you only have a limited amount of time to get on over there. Go ahead and add that to your order, and then type in your order number that you want to add that to. If you have any questions whatsoever and say that you want to order it, tell us to hold on before we ship it. Go ahead and send us an email at doomsdaykingdom@gmail.com. Alright, thank you very much for this announcement. Back to the video. Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today I want to discuss this sneak peek. Now, it's not just a prediction for Season 8 or for Episode 5. This is a sneak peek from Episode 5, but the scene is much more important than that. It has to do with what Scott Gimple and the writers are up to, because this is a scene that's remixed from a scene from the comic book. Now, we're not going to go into comic book spoilers, not heavy ones, tiny minor ones, but the comic book spoiler is, in the comic book, it wasn't Gabriel that was trapped, surrounded by zombies in a room with Negan. It was Rick Grimes. And in this situation, Negan opens up to Rick a little bit and gives him some backstory by exposition. He verbalizes his backstory, and we get his backstory in a separate comic that came out called Here's Negan, so the reader knows what's going on, and then Negan gives Rick the kind of summarized version, and it's very similar. The dialogue itself extremely similar to what Negan is talking to Gabriel about. So I want to kind of break this down a little bit. This is likely a discussion that will continue to be relevant for the next year. It all matters on how they plan on remixing this. I got a couple ideas. I'm going to go back into the video. Originally, this was part of the Episode 5 prediction video, but I needed to separate it because, like I said, we'll be discussing this possibly for the next year off and on, but the Episode 5 prediction video is dead after a few days. No one cares about that, but this is going to continue to be relevant. So let's dive right into what I had recorded previously. Okay, so here we have the sneak peek called Helping People, and this is one of the main things I want to discuss that is more important than just Episode 5. You have the hands here. First off, this is beautiful. I love this. Gabriel says he became a priest to help people through their weaknesses and yada yada yada. And Negan's like, oh, well, would you look at that? That's what I've been doing my whole life, one way or the other. He says, you know why people are going to die in there? Because I'm not there to stop it. And then he whistles. That whistle is almost the same damn whistle he did when the Saviors were surrounding the group before they killed Glenn and Abraham. It's the whistle we've heard multiple different times, right? It's connecting Negan to helping keep his people alive with the shit that he's done. Think about this. Negan killed Glenn and Abraham not just to butcher them in front of everyone, not just because he's a serial killer. You could say anything you want about him, but the point of it was his group, his team, his people, his community were slaughtered in their sleep. Now, given, yes, they are the bad guys. They go and extort communities. They rule over them by killing someone first and then telling everyone the rules later. Yes, they are the villains, but the thing is, Negan sees it as, okay, we put everyone in line and we keep everyone safe, and that's how we keep people from getting killed, and yada yada yada. We build up this community his way through a ruthless type of leadership. And then he goes to whistle, so it connects the meaning of his actions to what he did to Abe and Glenn in the beginning. Because again, I think for the TV show, that is a crucial aspect. Adding that scene, that whole episode where Rick and gang go and kill the Saviors in their sleep at the outpost, and they slaughter them all. And then Negan can't have that, his people died because he's not there to stop it, so he's going to make sure that he stops it. And he does say that later on. He says, Abraham, that's on me. Big Red, that's on me. That had to happen. There's no way that was not going to happen. I had to teach you guys a lesson and put you in your place. So this is also interesting, and the biggest part that connects to the comic book. This is identical, so much so where I just don't understand why it's now being used here. And it makes me wonder if they're not going to change the TV Negan and the future of his storyline, because this is a big moment between Negan and Rick in the comic book. They're trapped in a building similar to this, a little building, and there's walkers outside, and they're having this little heart-to-heart talk, and Negan says the same shit. He's like, listen, I kept running into people, and they were weak, getting themselves killed, and I had to put my foot down, and, you know, that's how I saved lives. You could call it what you want. You know, you can have any problems you want with the way I got things done, but I'm keeping people alive by being the leader that I am. So this is, for comic book fans, this is nuts that they're doing this so early, and they're not doing it between Rick and Negan. It doesn't make any sense unless they're planning on building off this and doing this again with Rick and Negan down the line. I mean, is something going to happen later on with Father Gabriel? Are they setting this up? We do know, comic book fans know, something happens very important with Father Gabriel at the same time, just before, I should say, just before comic book Negan and comic book Rick get trapped and they have this conversation. So does Scott Gimple know a way that he wants to take this scene, what he's talking to Father Gabriel about, and use it later on where something happens important in Father Gabriel's story, and Negan and Rick talk about Father Gabriel's story, and that's what starts their conversation. And Negan can even open up and admit, I liked Father Gabriel. We had a nice little chat when we were locked up, very similar to how we are now. If they're going to do the same thing, having Rick and Negan locked up, I think that would be an incredible way to tie that in together. Or they're never going to have Rick and Negan locked up like they are in a comic book in this scene and have that similar discussion. So comic book fans down below, definitely let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think is going to pop off. So I'm sure we're going to come back to this topic, especially after All Out War plays out and we see what they do with Negan, and if they decide to change his storyline, whether they're going to make it different or very similar to the comic book. And we'll come back likely to discuss this when we begin the new season in Season 9. Because again, I think this is going to be relevant towards the end of Season 9 or somewhere in Season 10. We don't know yet on if there's going to be more original content that's going to slow down what we see on the screen compared to what's in the comic. Yeah, different things like that. So we're just going to have to let All Out War play out, and then we'll come back and revisit this and try to see what they're going to do between this Negan Gabriel and Rick Grimes trapped and having this discussion about his backstory, because there's something going on here. So you leave your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think they are up to? That's what I'm going to title this video. What are they up to? You know, because Scott Gimple's up to something. This is happening way too early, and it should be happening with Rick and not Gabriel. Again, in the comic, this was Rick with Negan trapped. And I'm so looking forward to that scene happening in the show. Now we're getting it with Gabriel. I love Gabriel. Seth Gilliam, I freaking love him. I think he's a fantastic actor. But that's something I was excited to see Rick in that position. And again, it's way too early for that. But still, I'm curious to see what they're up to. So leave your thoughts, theories, opinions, predictions, and everything else down in that comment box. Thanks for all the support. Hit that like button. Stay tuned. And thanks for the support. I love you all.